So we start officially. Hello, everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Birgitte Dalsgaard. I'm one of the JJIF duo operators, along with Fabio and Dimitri. And the job of these operators is to make courses and make sure that everybody knows what there is to know about the rules. So there's one more admitting. And welcome Johannes too. Good. I will be sharing my screen. So can everybody see the front page of a presentation?
Yes.
That's good. That's great. This presentation and Zoom meeting is mainly for the duo community in Europe and in Asia. We will have similar for the other regions, but there is an issue with well, both time of the day, also with the language, and also with the size. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance to ask questions. So if these courses are with too many participants, then it's difficult to get questions from everybody who may have questions. So this is the reason for splitting it into continents. As I said, the meeting will be recorded, so I hope it's okay with you. The agenda for now, I expect this meeting to be around maybe 1 hour, but if there are more questions, we don't just stop. We have no fixed ending time. If you have questions, we will do what we can to answer them, even though it's more than 1 hour. So we take the time needed for this. I will come into the plan for education, the divisions, like the flow charts. We had some questions about hikawake, attacks for each round, looking at the attacks, course of the match, following the score, how coaches can follow the score, and a bit about the transparency in scoring, which is one of the good things about the new system. It's more transparent. We had questions about challenges, and at the end there will be time for Q&A, like if you have more questions. But please feel free to ask questions during the presentation as well, because if you have a question, then it's better to have it answered. Maybe some others have the same questions. Fabio will be checking the chat, so you can write the chats there, or you can raise your hand. And Fabio will keep an eye on raised hands, so we can get the questions as they appear. If I speak too fast or too slow, please let me know. I'll try to adapt. First of all, I assume you all have the new rules. The latest version is at JJIF Sport under downloads. There is a version saying it's for the World Championships 2023. So this is the version we will be using at the World Championships. This introduction, or this information and question Zoom meeting we have today is mainly for preparing for the World Championships in Mongolia. So our focus will be on adults. Yes. The education plan. The new rules apply from June 4th. Shortly after, we created a WhatsApp group for the referees appointed for Mongolia. We also may have some referees going to Kazakhstan, but mainly we took all the referees from Mongolia. Not from Mongolia, but going to the World Championships in Mongolia. So we have a WhatsApp group there to make sure that the referees are as prepared for the World Championships as possible. Then after this group was created, we had some startups. We had some time for self-study. During this time, we had a lot of questions from coaches, from athletes, referees. And as I said before, we will also, in this meeting, we will also answer these questions. So make sure that everybody knows the answer. Now today, we have this Zoom meeting, the green one, that's today. It's for education of everybody. It's for information. And again, it's for questions. The questions we can answer today, of course, we'll answer straight away. There may be some issues we cannot just answer like this, but then we will make sure the answers are posted in the WhatsApp groups, but more about that later. Next weekend, on Saturday, we have another Zoom meeting, but that's for referees only. It's to focus on the specific issues in scoring. So it's very important that the referees that are going to Mongolia, and especially those that have a dual license and may be able to judge duo, they also attend on the meeting next Saturday on the 8th of July. After these Zoom meetings, and also now you can use the WhatsApp group to ask questions, and more about that later, but I'll just move this one. Oops. But then again, all of this is to make sure that we all help each other to make the best possible world championships within duo. So let's help each other make this a success. So, as I said, the WhatsApp groups, these are really important because you can ask questions, you can get the answers. We made several WhatsApp groups. One, as I said before, for the duo referees going to Mongolia or Kazakhstan. This is for referee stuff only. Then we also have WhatsApp groups for the continents, like the Duo Asian educational team. So all the questions that may pop up in Asia will be here. We have one for the Duo community for Europe. Again, please ask all the questions you have there as well. We make sure that if something important comes up in one group, it will be shared to the other groups. We also, now this meeting is about Europe and Asia, but we also have a similar group for Pan America. It's in Spanish, so Fabio will help if something pops up there. So we can also join the issues there. But these groups are to make sure that there are options or possibilities to ask questions and get them answered. Okay, let's move on to the divisions or the flowcharts, as we call them. Last time I looked at sport data, we had 8 couples for men, duo men, 6 couples for duo women, and 9 couples for duo mix. How the actual flowchart will be depends on the organizers. They decide this. But if there are only 6 to 8 couples, they would normally start in round 3. That means with Series C, showing all attacks. If the organizers choose to do something different, like making them a show, just adding one more, like it. For some competitions we had with the limited couples, there were options to show, like starting in round 1, showing A and Series B and then C. But it's up to the organizers, so we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure if it's going to be like this or not. But if you have 9 couples, as a starting point, you will start in round 2, meaning Series B, showing all attacks there. So be aware when you come to Mongolia to see what's the setup for the flow chart there. Where do we start? Which round do we start? In the rules, we have this on the left, like if you have 17 couples or more, you start in the first round. We don't have this in these groups, unfortunately, not yet. But we have 9 to 16 couples in the dual mix, and we have 5 to 8 couples in the other categories. So this is an example of how the flowchart could be. Again, it depends on the organizers, what they decide to do. But for the dual men and dual women, in case we choose, or the organizers choose to have just one group, this could be the way it's presented. If there is just one group, here you start in round 3. Normally in round 3, it's only the 2 best couples from each group moving on. So again, there we need to see what they do. But if there's only one group, it would be the 4 best moving on to the 4th round. In the 4th round, they show the 6 techniques as written in the rules, like Series A, 1 and 2, Series B, 2 and 3, Series C, 3 and 4. How they perform here, the lowest scored couples will then get a bronze, and the 2 best move on to round 3, to round 5, and fight the final for gold and for silver. But again, it depends on the organizers and how many teams we have. Just the other day, we had 2 more teams coming in to dual men. So we don't know for sure how many teams, if more teams will come before we start in Mongolia. We had questions about Hikiwake, in case when you see the score, in case 2 couples or more couples are equal in the score, within the top 2 or top 4, depending on where you are. In this case, in round 1, 2, and 3, then they all proceed to the next round. It's only in round 4 and 5. If there are equal scores, they will do the series again. They will do the techniques again. So similar to the old rules, we have to do that in the medal fights in round 4 and 5, because we can't just move everybody to the final. So, and again, if you have questions, please feel free to ask in the chat or by raising your hand. Looking at the attacks per round, it's pretty clear written in the rules how it is in divisions. One thing to be aware about is which series you start. In the world division, the first division, if you start in the 2nd or the 3rd round, it's with Series B or C. But if you move down to the advanced division, the 1st round starts in Series B and the 2nd round starts in Series C. So you have to make sure, you have to make sure, there we go, which division you're fighting in to know which series to show. So please be aware of this. We also had comments on the guides in the rules. There are guides for how to score in the different parts. Right now it says, for instance, a perfect kick in Series B, a perfect kick that hits the target with balance and power. This is a wording that's maybe not the best, let's put it that way. So, but right now it's like that. What you need to know is nothing has changed in the attacks. It's the exact same. So the general comment that the attack must be able to reach Tori if he's not or she's not moving away, that still applies. So nothing has changed. Of course, you don't have to actually hit with the attack. So, and of course that goes for Series C as well. Course of the match. I think many of you, or most of you by now know the course of the match, but just to make sure everybody knows, it's one couple at the time, showing 4 attacks per round, if it's round 1, 2, or 3, or showing 6 attacks in round 4 and 5. So one couple at the time, showing all these attacks. They decide which order they want to show them. So the mat referee does not say A3 or something. The couple decides which order to show, like all techniques from, all attacks from Series B, for instance. Then they decide which order. Before every attack, the mat referee says Hajime, and they show the attack. When they've shown the attack, the 3 juries will score each attack. In case of a wrong attack, the mat referee will signal afterwards. Be aware that a wrong attack is not so important as it used to be. I will show you later, but since the referees judge in 4 parts, it will only be a 0 in the first part, but the rest of the technique will still be scored. Also, normally in performance, the couple will show all the techniques from like Series A or Series B or Series C in the first 3 rounds. So normally there will not be a wrong attack in this. Maybe in round 4 or 5. I see Judith, you have a hand?
Yes, thank you for let me speak. I did the test event in Belgium, and then it was one technique score. For now, I understand the participants show 4 techniques, and then the score will be given.
Nope. Scoring is after each technique, each attack.
Okay, and the order of showing the techniques, the couple is free to show A3, A1, A4, A2.
Yes. Yes. You're welcome. So they show 1 technique, score, 1 technique, score. I'll show you in the next slide as well. After the final technique or the final attack, the couple will kneel, as in the old rules. Mat referee will say Hante. The jury has maybe 10 seconds or so to finish the scoring, and then there will be the bow as normally. After each scoring, that is after each attack, the points are visible to the coaches and to the audience. So you will be able to see what you scored in this technique or this attack. To make it maybe a bit more clear, course of the match, you start with the team coming in, bowing. Mat referee says Hajime. Couple shows the attack. The jury scores. The mat referee has eye contact with the jury. Maybe they make a thumbs up sign to make sure they're ready to see the next attack. This will only take a few seconds, actually. And the more used to this the referees are, and now there has been many test events, then it will not take as long as it did in the beginning. But then after the attack, the jury scores, jury is ready for next attack. Mat referee says Hajime. The next attack will come. It will be scored by the jury, and so on until the final attack. So in round 1, 2, and 3, it will be after the 4th attack. The couple will kneel. Mat referee says Hante. After a few, maybe 10 seconds, get up again, bow, and they go out. And then we are ready for the next couple in this group. Okay. I want to show this small video. It's from, we had several tests or several events recently, both in Greece and in Portugal. This is from Portugal, where we used the new rules as well. In this video, it's not 100% as it's going to be in Mongolia. This referee shows the number of the attack. As I said before, we're not going to do that because we don't know. The couple decide which order, so the referee would not know which number. But the referee says Hachime. Another thing that's a bit different is that after the final attack, you kneel. On this video, you don't. Oh, just a second. Here we go. Finally, yeah, we only have the hantai signal after the last technique. And we show 4 techniques or 4 attacks. In this video, it's only 3. But still, it gives you an idea of how the course of the match is. So let's roll this. So the jury is ready. Then you see the scores from the jury come to the screen now, and this is visible to the coaches and the athletes. Again, we don't say hante, but still wait for the jury to score. And there comes the scores. And another hachime for the next technique, for the next attack. At this point, when you have the final technique, you will ask the couple to kneel, say hantai. Then you get the final scores here. Scores are there. And then you move on. Then you move on with the bow. And next couple is ready. Yes, I see Mariam. You have a hand raised.
Yes, only to get sure. We fight with red belts, isn't it that way?
Yes.
Yes, because that couple have blue one.
Yeah, you're right. Good spotted. And yes, this is to show a closer up on the what's shown on the screen. This is an example from the first round, where you see the combined score for all the techniques. Also the A4. The last technique or the last attack that was shown is the one at the bottom. Here it's A4. For the last performed attack, you can see the scores on each part as well. So here, for instance, you could see that the lowest score is in the closing part. So the coach will know, okay, maybe there's something about the last part of this attack or technique. So it's easier to see why is this score as it is. Also here we have VAR, 6 points. So that means a combined score for the variety. To avoid confusions with the video, we ask to have this VAR changed. So at the World Championships, if you have VRT, it still means variety. So if there is VAR or VRT, it's variety score. Similar. This is the screen. You can see on the mat as coach and audience and athlete. This is for round 4, where you have the 6 techniques or 6 attacks. And again, the last performed C4, you can see the score in each part. This is to show how it looks from the referee side. Normally, as a referee in round 1, 2, and 3, you have this picture on your tablet. You select the technique and you give the scores. In round 4 and 5, you have to select the series first, if it's A, B, or C. So like here, you select B. Since it's round 4, in series B here, you have the option of these two, either A2 or B2 or B3. If the couple shows one of the others, it will be a wrong attack. So there are some built-in functions in the system that will make it easier for the referees. But again, you choose. If you see B3, press here and give the scores. As soon as this is done, the coaches and athletes will see, and the audience, of course, will see the black box with all the points, as I showed you before, on the screen. So it should be visible and it should be clear after each technique, what is the score, and the final attack, you can see the scores for all parts. So it should be pretty transparent why the points are given. Again,
Marian is asking for intervention. Marian, at your end.
I think it's just the old hand.
We just remove it, right? Okay.
That's good. Just a second. In Denmark, it's really windy, so I just had to close the window so you can hear me, actually. Okay.
Sorry. I would appreciate if we solve the questions in the chat also in the same time, because it's really difficult to read what is in the chat and to hear what you explain and following all this.
Yes. Since I can't see the chat when I'm presenting
Or
here, then
should we maybe address the chat after the presentation?
no, we can take it as it comes along. Because it may be for something for the presentation. Fabio, will you say what's written in the chat then, please?
Yeah, sure. Some questions came up. Let me start from the beginning. Okay, the first question, it's about the rounds. Because said that the rounds could be adapted, but this is only due to the number of athletes. They're fixed. So for the first round in the world, it's Series A. The second round is B. And then the second question was if the registrations were not already closed. Well, yeah, that's not on our side, but yes, they are. Again, and next question, it came from Genoveva. If the referee says the rounds or numbers. No, this is published beforehand, so everyone knows which rounds they are starting and how it progresses from then. The next one, we had a question about how will the finals and semifinals take place, the order, and this is already on the page 13. So it starts with the semis and finals from the novice, semis and finals from the advanced, and it ends with the semi-finals from the world division. Next, what did we have? The athletes, when they receive the grades after each technique, necessarily stand, or they can sit in seiza. They stand. They only kneel after the last attack, and at referee's order for ante. And Judith asked about the gesture for Hajime, and yes, this is done like the Ju-Jitsu system with the fights, the end, one end only. Okay. This is the one we'll be using for the dual system. Next. Only red color belts for every dual. And I think that covers it. We have a raise hand from, I think it's Ian.
Yes,
Want
correct. Just a quick question regarding this, the finals and semifinals block. Does this mean there won't really be a finals block? Because if with all the other categories on the same day, will it all be fought out after the preliminaries, or will there be a break between the third round and then the semifinals and finals?
Well, usually this is something that is to the scheduling department. I would say to sport data operators, probably. I couldn't answer you if they are doing like a final block for all the divisions. I don't think they, but this is just guessing. I'm not sure if they are following the block and then finals. What we have been assisting in the World Championship is to have a finals block. I would assume the same will happen, but let's wait. We can ask that and then give you some questions, some answers as soon as we get them.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Fabio, and thank you for all the questions in the chat. And Fabio, if you see more questions coming up, then let's take them as we go along. Good. Okay, back to the slides. We have still the transparency in scoring. As I said before, the referee will score each attack in 4 parts. Like the first part is the attack. The second part is the defense. The third part is the throw or takedown. And the fourth part is the closing. And again, you could see on the screen the points for the last technique in each of these parts. In each part, and again, most of you will, most of you will know this, of course, already, but to make sure everybody knows it, in each part, the jury will score with points from 1 to 3. We will be looking for things like wrong attack, missing action, is it weak or is it powerful? And the actual judging is based on the same criteria as we have done all along. So there's nothing new there. The only new thing is that we look for the good stuff and give more and more points, the better it is, instead of deducting and looking for mistakes. So here, if you have a perfect action that's applied with power, balance, control, and flow, then in this part, you will get 3 points. For instance, just an example, in part 3, where you have the throw or the takedown, the referees will look for things like jumping, is the flow, is the balance. And then in the rules, we have the guide, which is only a guide for judging. So like if Uka jumps and there's no effort from Tori, it's 0 points in this part 3. But then again, the better it is, the more flow it has, the more balance it has, then finally you get to get 3 points. So the better this part is, the more points, and maximum 3 and minimum 0. So for referees, it can be difficult to judge to see, okay, what is it a 2 point or is it a 3 point? For coaches and athletes, if you wonder, okay, why did the referee give 2 or 3 points? Why did I get less points here? Then referees will look at power, balance, control, and flow. And again, the normal criteria that we're used to. But if all these criteria, if you have in each part, both power, balance, control, and flow, then it will be a 3 point. But if one of these things is lacking, then it's maybe only 2 points. So like if you lack some control, it's not a 3 point score, it's a 2 point score. So as referees, this is how we see it. And for coaches and athletes, this will give you a better idea of why maybe there's a little lower point or higher points in some parts. In the rules, again, we had a guide. This is just to show you an overview. I'm not going to go into details with this. This is our referee guide, referee stuff. But again, to make it more clear, when is it a 1 point score? When is it a 2 point score? When is it a 3 point score? Or when is it actually a 0 point? So we have this for Series A, Series B, and Series C. Then we had a question as well. When we judge in 4 parts, what if part 2 and 3 are like combined? If you have a technique where the defense is a direct reaction to the attack, so you actually cannot split it into part 2 and part 3. Again, if we look at the criteria we normally have, and if we look at especially power, balance, control, and flow, if this combination of 2 and 3 has both power, balance, control, and flow, then it's 3 points both in part 1 and part 2. We cannot, if the couple makes a technique like this, it's normally very efficient. It's very like flow. So we cannot punish them for not showing it clear in 4 parts. So it's more important that the technique is efficient and has met the criteria. So the couples are welcome to make these kind of presentations as well. And we'll still get 2 times 3, score 3 if they met the criteria. Variety. In the rules, it's made clear as well that variety, if it's the same technique in 3 or more attacks, then it's a 0 point. If it's the same technique in just 2 attacks, it's 1 point. And if it's a different technique all over, then you get the full 2 points in variety score. So after all the techniques or all the attacks have been shown, the referee will judge the variety score. We had questions here. So what about in round 4 and 5, when we have 6 attacks? Do we have to have different techniques in everyone? As the rules are here, and as they're written in the document for the World Championships, you actually have to have different techniques in all attacks to get the 2 points. So. Challenge. In the sporting code, as it is in the newest version, it says that in duo and show, the points awarded by the referee cannot be challenged as such. The challenge can only refer to indication or mistaken indication of wrong attack. So since wrong attack is not so important anymore, this part should be changed, but right now it's not the time for changing anything. So we have to go with what we have. So in case you sit there as a coach and say, hey, something's wrong here, but I cannot make a challenge because it's a wrong attack, then please make it as an appeal, because then it will be looked into to see if there is a mistake or something. So this is what I had so far. Yeah, there's a question from Johannes.
Yeah, hello. I have a question to the challenge and how the athletes get on the tatami.
Yes.
Does all athletes go to the tatami from each group if the first couple of the group starts? Because to be able to do an appeal as a coach, you have to see the other techniques. But if I'm not allowed at the fighting area, how can I appeal?
That is a very good question. We will check it with the organizers to make sure what the answer is, and post the answer you're in the WhatsApp group as well.
No, but my training partner, so I will see it.
Okay, good.
But because it's very important, it wouldn't be the first time that we are not fighting, but we are talking about and having a little bit of fight with the security people entering the venue. Because oh, you are still 2 fights ahead, and it's with the new rules, one fight is 1 minute. So when are we allowed to go inside? Because I don't want to fight with the security before I have to have 100% to concentrate on my technique.
That's fair. We will talk to the organizers about this.
Please. Thank
And
you.
again post the answer in the WhatsApp group for Europe and Asia.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have 2 questions.
Yes, Fabio, please.
The first is about in variety on the throw part. I think that's it. Yes, so far the third part, the throw, the takedown submission part, is the only one that will be evaluated for variety. So if the couple is doing the same finishing every time, you will not be penalized for that. And a question. Score.
And Johannes, you have another question?
Yes, I think my question is more for the referees, but we are free to choose, especially in the 4th and 5th round, in the semifinals and final round, between all the series. If a couple does, for example, series C3, the stick attack from the top, but it's not shown really clear for the referee, how does he choose if it's the 3rd attack or the 4th attack? Because when can he say it's a wrong attack for himself?
The same way we normally do. It's an issue that's been addressed many times, and we've seen so many challenges on this point as well. So I can only say we as referees, we judge as we normally do to see if it's clear or not. And as athletes, I hope you will be very clear in this part specifically, because if it's not clear, then you risk that the jury sees it as the other attack, like C4. Yes, Mario?
It's about the variety of the throws. So for the referee, which kind of, let's say, for example, seoinage, are different throws. So if I perform eri seoinage, marotta seoinage, ippen seoinage, are all these 3 throws different throws, or are they the same because of the same family?
Different.
Yeah.
You can also do like, let's say, reverse seoinage, and it's different than the regular seoinage. Yes, it will be considered different throws for this case.
But again, as athletes, please try to make the difference clear so we can see the difference. Because if the judge or the jury cannot see that it's 2 different seoinages, then they may see it as a variety issue. So if it's a clear 2 different seoinages, then it's 2 different techniques.
But could this be something what I can challenge as a coach? If I see the variety score go down, and I know the program of the athletes and know there are different throws, and is that possible to challenge it?
Not as it is now. It's only wrong attack.
I have another question.
Yes.
We have different divisions. So if I have 6 couples, I am in the world division, 2 of them lose the first round and they go down in the next division. And they will fight there and will get a gold and the silver medal in the next division, or how I have to imagine that?
That's again the organizers, how they choose to run with these numbers or number of couples. So we don't know for now. But if you-
because in okay, thank you.
You did your next, but before you did, there's you wrote the form alternate, right?
Yes, thank you very
Yes.
much. It was not possible to raise my hand, so I did it like this.
That's fair.
Well, in the round 5 and 6, or 4 and 5, you have the knife and the stick attacks. In round 4, it's 3 and 4. I assume you only have to enter the tatami with the stick, and in round 5, you only have to enter with the knife, or do you have to bring both weapons?
I don't see a reason for bringing both if you know that these are just the attacks you're going to show.
Okay, thank you.
It limits the risk of making something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a question out of one of our coaches. So
Yeah, it doesn't say anything in the rules about that you have to bring both to the side of the mat.
okay, perfect.
Yes. Anything else in the chat? You see something, Fabio?
No, I think we have covered it for now.
Johannes.
There's a question from Johannes, yes.
Yes. Please.
Yes, Robert Torek has a question.
Hello,
Okay.
Robert is speaking. We are all on the same laptop following this Zoom meeting.
Hello, Famari Horak.
Yeah, family, yes. Anya and all. Hi to everybody. Again, in Series C, they can choose maybe this C2, C4, C3. The referee has to say this was C3 or it was C4 by the stick. You know, this is the point where we have the most challenging. If it's not clear, in the old system, it was clear, it was a wrong attack. Now, how should a referee know which one he choose? Was it 3 or was it 4? Or he say it was because he has to choose for voting an attack. He has to say it was 4 or it was 3 for voting. But if he don't know, was it 3 or 4, how he can choose 3 or 4? And the next question for me, Series C, attacker will target a closed fist and good stand. Why I need closed fist for weapon attacks?
These are only guides.
Yeah, guides. It must be clear. We need clear rules.
Yeah, but we can't write down every example of what will give 2 or 3 or 0 points.
I think it was just copy paste from Series B. That's what I think.
Ah, okay.
The closed fist makes sense in Series B, but the closed fist makes not sense in Series C because Series C is a weapon. But especially my first question for me is very important. How they make not clear, they make not attack 3, they make not attack 4. You know these points, but the referee choose, or he choose one of them and give 1 point or 0 point because he don't know which attack really
No.
the couple has shown.
The most safe way to do it is to make sure for couples that you train to make a clear difference. Because again, we both know, or we all know, that we had so many challenges in this. So if there's a clear difference between the 2 techniques, then the referee knows, okay, this was
That's the reason why we really said many times, please cancel the word diagonal downwards. Then it's, but even
I know.
it's in the
and we tried to get it out of the rules, but right now we cannot change the rules and it's still in there. So make sure that it is as clear as possible. And after this, please make proposals to have this changed.
this proposal, I think 10 times. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We all tried, but yeah. So we will judge or we will educate the referees to make sure to focus, is it a C3 or is it a C4? And if you as coach and athletes try to be as precise as possible, also to make a clear difference, then we should avoid problems with wrong attacks. So that's all we can do for now, actually. Yeah.
The chat is calm for now.
The chat is calm. Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Any questions from the Horax? In case, as soon as we close this Zoom meeting and say, oh, I forgot to ask this, please remember we have the WhatsApp groups, so ask the questions there as well, and we will answer them as quickly as possible. And again, in the chat, we will also address the questions we had here, like the one with going to the tatami, how many are allowed, and so on. Yeah, the Horax.
Yeah, I just remembered in the beginning, you said the organizer still could change in which round we start, like it was in the test event. But for me, especially as an athlete who already trained, I know there are only 8 people. I start with the 3rd round. I think if the country is allowed to say, no, we start with the 1st round with Series A, it's not fair for the athletes to just say when you come there, we changed it. I don't know if we misunderstood it, but you 100% said it that the organizer could still change it like one day before.
I think it was in a general sense, not for the World Championship.
No.
And then I think I know why Birgitte said it, because we discussed this previously in local tournaments and national tournaments, like the Portuguese, the Greek. We had only so many athletes, and we decided to start with the previous rounds, so they had a chance to perform more and more, and also to test the system. And that's what actually happened. Maybe in the future, if it's regional or something, the organizers may have that option. This is not on the table for now. Agree, Birgit?
Yeah, but the system at the World Championships should follow the one addressed where if you only have the 6 or the 8 couples, you start in round 3 with Series C.
Okay, and you also said there are still 2 couples coming, even though
No, I said,
closed, or was it also misheard from me?
no, what happened was that when I made the slides, the first part of the slides some days ago, there were only 6 couples in duo men. And when I checked, not yesterday or the day before yesterday, all of a sudden there were 8. So 2 more couples from UK.
2 new registration from Kazakhstan. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is the registration is closed, but since there are so few couples, I don't know if they will allow it if someone else comes in and say, hey, we got 2 couples. I don't know. That's again up to the organizers.
Is this even allowed?
I don't know.
Invitation, it's already closed, and it would be unfair to the athletes who are
Yeah.
already preparing for the competition.
We would say it's not logical or possible.
Sorry, you were really quiet.
Yeah, we would say this is not possible from our side as referees.
I
Okay.
could just see that 2 more couples had entered.
Okay, so not more.
To be honest, I don't expect any more couples to join now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any more questions? No. Actually, this was exactly 1 hour. Thank you very much to everyone for joining. Right now we are 35, so that's a lot of people. Oh, Johannes, you have a question.
No, it's me. It's just yesterday they sent out in WhatsApp a link with the program. but we still miss the days when duo men and women and show men and women will compete.
And some other fighting disciplines.
Yeah, the link the document they sent out with the time schedule, like yesterday or something.
Yeah, there is
When
two
I-
times mixed inside, but
Yeah,
not
exactly.
women or two men. So please be so kind and yeah, remember that we get a new version
Soon.
soon. Thanks.
Yep. I will contact the organizers and ask. Yes, Judith?
Thank you. According to the weapons, if you normally use weapon in colors, red or blue, is there something written down about the color of the weapons?
Nope.
So you can use a blue stick?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
We even had some using non-colored sticks. So it doesn't say in the rules, so we cannot say that they don't apply to the rules.
Yes, to add something new, of course. Birgitte, Tom is asking about the variety score. Maybe you could go over this again one more time?
Yep, I'll just...
This is actually an extra score. Yes, Tom, you are right. And Birgitte is showing how it is scored. This is after the presentation of the techniques. We can go.
So you want me to go back here? Like here, or? No,
I think she wants to know what is the criteria for the variety score? For 0, for 1, for 2?
okay, so we go back to this one. This one. Yes. Like again, the variety score as it is now, we look at the part 3, the actual throw or takedown, or if there is a submission there. So we look at the part 3 to see if there is a difference, like the example here from this with the Harigoshi, Kataguruma, and Udakarami. And thank you very much, by the way, for the use of these pictures. They show very clearly that that these are different throws. So we look at part 3. So again, as Fabio said earlier, in the last part, if you make the same closing, it's not affecting the variety score as it is now. Yes, and Johannes, or
With the takedowns and the closing with, if it's a punch or a lock, we had in Belgium in the test event that one tatami said internal that they will want to have the throws and the finishing technique be in the variety. This 100% can't happen in the World Championship. So if you have 2 times a strangulation or 2 times a punch, it's not for variety, 100%.
we will educate the referees to make sure it's strictly according to the rules.
The rules say only throw and takedowns are for variety.
Yes.
If you do every technique, you finish with a tsuki to the head, it's not part of variety by the rules.
Not as they are now.
But
What
it
it
should-
says in the rules now, actually, on page 4, it says that variety are the number of different throws, takedowns, and submissions.
and
It's part 3. It's not throws or takedowns. It's part 3 technique. It
Yeah.
can be throw, can be submission, can be takedown. Actually, Udeganami in the case is not a throw.
And another point, what we had in Belgium discussed was a good example. If the throw is the main defense, example, you punch C3, the stick from the top, you go directly in from Seonagi, then the throw and the defense is the same move.
Yes, Birgitte addressed it in the beginning. It says
okay, good.
in the case second part and third part will be both scored because the anticipation will provide the defense itself.
This one. Forward.
As long
Yes.
as it is properly made. Yes.
Super, thanks.
And it was actually to tell everybody else about this question you had. So that's fine.
Yes. And also, some is asking if it's about round one. No, let's say so. If the first round you have, let's say the world division. In the first round, the couple will perform 4 attacks of the A series, all the attacks. In the end, the referee will judge if they have made in the 4 attacks 4 different throws, then you get 2 points in variety. If they only made like 2 different throws, then it's 1 point. If it's all the same throw, 0 points. So this goes for every round. And in addition, in the final rounds, the semis and finals, which is round 4 and 5, you have 6 attacks instead of 4, but it's the same math. All the same attacks, 0. Different maximum, and only 2. I think it's 1 point.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? It doesn't seem to be so. Then I'd like to thank you all for attending. And again, please, if you have more questions, ask them in the chats. Not in the chats, yeah, well, in the WhatsApp groups. So if there's nothing else, Fabio and I would like to say thank you for now. Have a great Sunday afternoon, evening, or whatever it is where you are. And we look forward to seeing many of you in Mongolia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.